And hello everyone, and welcome to another at a glance episode. Um, so as usual, kicking things off with a quick um like uh, um like check in or like update. Um, So, it's like I guess that the good news, is that I'm going to uh start a trauma at a therapy next month. And on the other hand, I get still means that like a lot of the locked doors that were like opened up, um that like I still have to find a way, to manage, and uh cope with those like issues in the meantime. And that also means that I really need to do what I can do to ensure that my memoir goes out no later than the 1st of June. And see what I can do, to bring more attention to my videos, to show like others that they're not alone, that they're not like in this at like alone. Um, and I won't deny that at times, like I feel that there's two or three very distinct parts. Like to me, like the nice like nurturing side, the extremely protective side, and then that one that's like a combination of the both of those, like a combination of the nice like a nurturing side and the like extremely protective side. um but I'm going to work on staying like more, like in that healthy uh, uh at a combination like of those two sides. And that I try my best, like not to let the trauma or the internal battles, can sue me or can troll, like the way that I live my life. So like in other news, I'm still working on the bioactive and closure for the turtle. So nothing new there. Um, like I'm starting to get used to my sh- uh tra- I'm starting to get used to my transition lenses that I wear like if I'm going like out anywhere. Like worst case, if I'm having like issues, I can always talk to the like I at a clinic about the issues, and find like a way, to work it out, um like I am really trying to change my outlook. Like that I knocked out some backgrounds for some future at National Awareness Month topics. Um, just have to make uh, the matching at backdrops. But luckily for me, that I have like a template to like work off of. Um, you know, so like that helps cut down on some of the stress. Um, you know, and my little one has a spring concert coming up in about a week. Um, so like I'm sure that all of the kids, are practicing and I'm in rehearsing a lot uh for that this week. um and like I can't like wait, to you know see what they came up with, because like I know that like it's like a couple, like solos in there and some other stuff. So like it's like I mean it's never really like a dull like a moment, with like watching what they come up with, like I mean it's um like it just like amazes me, it's that it's that how like I don't know, it's like how like a polish that it looks at times, and like the way that kids like are willing like to help, like others, like if they don't know what like the next like word is, and that they're one of the speakers, then like the kid that's up there like with them will actually say like what the next word is if they can sense that they're having, like issues with like making out like what the next word is. um you know and and like for me, I mean I think that like says like a lot, um but yeah, it's like I'm not sure like what uh that the future holds, but I'm going to do my best to stay optimistic. um you know Now, a quick at a content at a warning. Um, the first at a topic this week talks about God. So if you are not religious or just don't want to, like listen to it, like no judgment at all, just simply skip to the timestamp for the second topic, which can be found in the upper left hand at a corner shortly, if it's not already like up there. So the first main topic of this week's episode is um the hard truth is God has always been there. Um so why this topic to to kick things off with this episode? Well, would Ayuba leave me if I said that I had conversation? And I did not really I think about it until after it was like over with. And I thought back on it, and it became clear to me that even on my worst day, that I'm not really alone. I've also been listening to Forrest Frank's Child of God album on Pandora lately. It's a really good like album. Like, I know that it speaks about God and some other things, but I mean, like, even if like you're not really like religious, like, I think that there's still songs that like on there that will still like resonate with you. um like, it doesn't like erase the darkness, but it helps me to see beyond it. That it helps me see that faint light that lies on the other side. I'll try to give a little background on the two biggest on the two biggest situations that stand out to me most, and often make me wonder why. Like, why was that I, uh, that makes me wonder why. It's like, why was my life spared? Why was I saved? For those that may not know, I had some rough moments in my childhood, at like early on, that awakened darkness and allowed it to take advantage of how vulnerable that I was, given my age and the things that I was dealing with. On one hand, I had the typical issues, like in elementary school, with like other kids, that I was trying to navigate, and constantly, while trying to navigate uh, through this, like, I thought to myself that I wish I had my older brother. I wished that I could be with him, because for some reason that I felt that I being with him would be better than what I had to deal with on a on a regular basis out in the world. On the other hand, I had to, and despite how much time has passed, like, it's still hard for me to talk about this next part. Lord, please give me the strength to get through this. On the other hand, I had to deal with the failure of some of the individuals who were supposed to protect me and to keep me safe from harm, who were supposed to do me no harm. You see, there were failures by by multiple individuals during this vulnerable time in my life. Two individuals abused me. And instead of protecting me and keeping me safe, I was physically, emotionally, and mentally abused at a point in my life when I didn't have any tools for dealing with or coping with something like this, and in a healthy way. What made it worse is that excuses were made and broken promises were made about how some of it would never happen again. Well, as pleas for help basically went unanswered, in the sense that some of the abuse that it didn't stop wasn't forced to stop, and I was left in that environment. My mind began to think that if things weren't going to stop, or there wasn't a real end in sight, that I had to do something to free myself from the pain and hurt that was coming multiple fronts. I might not agree with what happens next, but I understand why it did happen. I understand what led to my younger self, putting it and that what led to my younger self, I'm putting it into motion. So one day, I made up my mind that I had enough, that I couldn't take it any longer. I didn't see any other way to make it stop, and so I attempted to take my own life. When I was just a little bit older than what my little boy is now. On that day, God saved me. It wasn't my time to go, but I couldn't make sense of it at that point, given that I still had to endure pain and the hurt that happened at random times. There was no set time, there was no schedule, and so I often didn't have time to really grace for it. For some reason that didn't shake my faith in God. Instead, it only strengthened it. This next situation could have definitely turned out a lot worse than what that it did. So, for those who don't know, that I was heading home from the base one evening and was struck head on by another vehicle. What many don't know is that prior to that day, I took some survival training, and I'll never forget the one thing that stood out to me the most out of everything that I learned over that span of training. One of the instructors said that the mind's natural reaction when faced with a dangerous situation is to instill panic. However, the moment you allow yourself to panic, you're already dead. Because you won't be able to think of possible ways out of the situation. So you have to fight the urge to panic, and instead slow down your thought process so you can think of a possible way out of the dangerous situation. That piece of information would later prove it to be valuable. I saw the vehicle on the wrong side of the 2-lane road. It didn't appear to be slowing down. I decreased my speed, and time sat still for a minute and began to slow down around me. Well, while time slowed, I thought about two possible courses of action, but I don't think I liked either one. One course of action meant going off in the damped grass, and the other course of action meant going into the lane they should have been in so I could get around them. You see, there was at least one car behind me, and doing either course of action would leave the person in the car behind me vulnerable. And I wasn't really okay with letting that individual take my place. I also came to the realization that I may not make it out of this situation alive, and I made peace with that. I told myself that I'd be okay if I didn't make it, as long as my husband and my son were taken care of. Well, time sped up. not too long after that. And the last thing that that I remember seeing is being hit and my head going through the steering wheel airbag. My beautiful metallic blue Camaro was in shambles. I was in a complete state of shock. I looked for my son in the back seat. Despite him not being with me on my drive home. Once things settled down and I got some some treatment, went through mental health, went through head trauma, and some physical therapy, I slowly began to realize that that day was still with me. I was stuck in that moment. Going down that road or any long road in the woods was enough to trigger a panic or an anxiety attack. My back was messed up, and so I experienced uh, pain constantly. Didn't process bits of information the way that I used to. God chose to save me again. But this time I kept questioning why. Why save me only for me to be in constant pain and have all of these other setbacks and difficulties? Why save me only for me to struggle with life itself? Not many people understand why I'd even question it. In fact, some of those that are closest to me don't understand, but they don't have to deal with what I have to on a daily basis. Dealing with everything has led me to contemplating taking my life and turning back to cutting myself more times than I like to even count. So now you understand why I created that uh, quote that is displayed at the end of every podcast episode and monthly mental health topic video. You now understand why I wrote that same quote in my memoir that I hope to release later on this year. Whew. This brings us to the second main topic of this week's episode, which is finding purpose. So picking up from the previous main topic, going through some rough times, and during hardship will make you question a lot of things that you normally wouldn't. Though it may be hard and you may not know what it is, right away, you have to find something healthy to focus on that gives you a purpose. For me, that's trying to give back to others. For me, that's trying to be more involved in my little boy's life. The way my own mother was there. And for me, I have to believe that my life was spared not once, but multiple times for a reason. Doing this podcast, weekly affirmations, and monthly mental health topics, those things help give me a purpose. Even on days when I'm really having it rough, I try to put on uh, I try to put on a brave face and take things one day at a time, and to take things as they come. I have to believe that I was saved for for a reason. Otherwise, what am I still doing here? If you're like me and you find yourself going through a storm, try to focus on something that either brings you joy or something that used to put a smile on your face, and you will make it to brighter days. Every day may not be a good one, but it doesn't mean that every day will be a bad one either. Purpose can be found in the simplest of things, or in the unexpected. And this brings us to our last main topic of this week's episode. Experiences have the power to shape us. Yeah. Experiences can have the power to shape us and then influence our lives and the decisions that we make. They can either shape us in a negative or in a positive way. I also think it's up to us to try to hold on to the positives and to embrace those small victories. By now, it's no secret that I've endured my share of bad experiences that I'm in life. Those experiences have broken me down. Those experiences have broken me down at a various points. One of the most memorable one of the most memorable experiences that helped shape me in a positive way is watching the battle that my little boy faced early on in his life with having issues to gain weight, coming down with RSV, which is a respiratory virus. Around a few minutes, around a few months of age, spending time in the hospital because of it. And if those things weren't enough, that his airway was blocked about 85% of the way. And he would need surgery to correct the problem. On one hand, watching him go through all of that, broke me. But at the same time, on the other hand, that would be the one thing to motivate me to go get my second Spartan trifecta. We have and hold the power at the end of the day to choose how experiences shape us. Yeah, I know it. Times it can be rough, and I get that, and we may want to give up, but I think there's more to be had. I think there's more that can be learned from not giving up, and instead, seeking help, looking for a purpose, yeah, finding things to do that can help us navigate through those rough times, and to keep going, like to not give up, to fight on, to make it one more day, this does can include this week's episode. So yeah, so just look out for like one another. If someone is saying that they need help, or they're going through this, or they're going through that, or even if you see that there's something that is happening to them and it's not right, speak up, and try to get them help. Try to get them out of that situation. Yeah. So thank you if you're watching or listening to this. I know it's one of the longer episodes, Um, and if you have any remarks or thoughts or anything like that, just post those in the comments on my YouTube channel. And as always, I hope everyone has a safe and a wonderful week.